So for a man like Meech, and we have a copy of the sentencing guideline table. I understand you're going to put it up for the viewers.
Yes.
Meech falls under what's referred to as criminal history category 2. And he had a level 42. And so a level 42 offender with a criminal history category 2 results in a sentencing range of 360 to life. Mm-hmm. So Meech received the low end of the applicable guideline range. That meant there was no cooperation at the earlier sentencing, at his first sentencing.
A YouTube channel by the name of Crime and Entertainment has cracked the code on the Big Meech third-party cooperation agenda that is being organized by 50 Cent and Dion Cuffy Gantling. Special guest Pete Rossani took a deep dive into Big Meech and BMF's transcripts, breaking down the time reductions and once again reiterating that Big Meech had not cooperated in any way, shape, form, or fashion.
And so in the federal system, you don't do 30, you do 85%. So that means he's going to get down somewhere in the neighborhood of 25, 24, then you take a year off for halfway house, then you take a year off for drug program. So you start looking at, okay, well, no one wants to do the 23 or 24 years, but on the other hand, it's not a 30 piece, meaning day for day. And so, when we had our last conversation, we were actually planning on speaking about the disarticulation of the Sinaloa cartel as of last summer, when this whole situation with Big Meech popped up. And I hadn't had an opportunity to review the documents, which is why I kind of had to qualify my statements and just reason from first principles. But now I've had an opportunity, after we spoke last time, to go and pull all the documents. I've had an opportunity to read the transcripts, analyze the orders, and quite frankly, I have no indication whatsoever that Big Meech cooperated.
Next, special guest Pete Rossani will completely dismantle the notion that Big Meech was using third-party cooperation or that it could even apply to this situation, stating that Tammy had gotten upwards in the amount of $200,000 for her work against Gatling, and that makes it first-party cooperation and first-party cooperation only.
Okay, Ms. Collins, entered into a cooperation agreement with the DEA. She was a civilian. She wasn't earning any time off of any beef that she was trying to work off. So she's what's technically referred to as an asset who's being compensated. So now the claim is that she entered into a third-party cooperation agreement. But in a third-party agreement, the beneficiary is the third party. In this case, Demetrius Flannery, assuming the theory was correct. It couldn't have been correct, however, because from the very inception, she was receiving financial compensation. Well, when a party enters into an agreement and receives compensation under that agreement, it's a first-party agreement. It's not a third-party agreement. And the agreement could have never contemplated Meech getting any time cut because she was getting paid from the very first month.
And you can't have both.
You can't have both.
It's one or the other.
And so for her, look, she ended up getting a monthly stipend of $3,000 a month. She gets a lump sum payment of $80,000 a month. She got money for her to move to a new place, so she gets another $24,000 to facilitate her move. And then the DEA even reimbursed her for the cost of a new car. She's 200 G's into this operation. Well, how in the hell are you anybody characterizing an agreement where the woman gets $200,000 as third party?
Yeah, that definitely sounds like some first party action.
And every podcast host and every commentator knows that she got paid. So in order for you to characterize it as a third party agreement, you are willfully ignoring those facts.
All right, peace. You already know where you at and who you rocking with, right? Right. So let's get to that then, yo. Salute to Crime and Entertainment. Salute to Pete. What is it? Pete Rossani. I hope I'm saying it right. If I'm not, my bad. The link to their video will be in the description box so you can view it in its entirety. But yeah, they cracked the code on the Big Meech third-party cooperation. Tammy Collins, Cuffy, Gantling, all of that. They cracked the code, man. I know them dudes over there, them junkies, them boys that stay with their mama, and the confidential informant that run that channel called Dogface TV, Frequent More. I know they mad. Feel me? How an informant gonna click up with Blue Da Vinci, who's another informant, and Cuffy, who had engaged in consensually recorded conversations about drug trafficking with other dealers, for the DA gonna get together to call Big Meech, a man of honor, a rat. And people listening. You feel me? It was only one thing that I didn't like about their video, and that was Mr. Pete Rossani's take on 50 Cent and how he's not liable, or how he released a statement right after the concert was canceled, and that statement may help him build a defense. I have taken up issue with that, but that's neither here nor there, man. Somebody tell those junkies and mama's boys, confidential informant that run Dogface TV podcast, Meech not a rat, and y'all label y'all probably liable. Yeah, his houses. Well, he showed his bank account the other day. His houses, his little car, and all that shit. It might be up for grabs, yo. Cause you slandered Big Meech's name in such a way. You were happy to slander his name. Happy to pull whoever up to your podcast, Detroit Block, YouTube Streets, or whatever you want to call it, so they can slander Big Meech, man. And that's crazy, man. You know what I'm saying? And he's supposed to be from here. You know what I'm saying? But I got more on him later, man. Let me get off that. That's something else. I got more on him later. Y'all see how I changed him, right? Hey, Boogie, your boss is an informant, and I changed him. Look at his last 3-4 videos. He ain't cursing. He trying to fight narratives instead of create them. Not talking about they saying this about me. You can't be the victim when you out here putting on actions like you is, dog. Don't play the victim. Talking about what people saying and what people doing and this and that and the other. Nah. The energy you're receiving is coming back around. And they say karma's a bitch, right? Where your girlfriend at? But look, Pete Rossani says the judge gave him consideration because he took a plea sentencing. Let me slow down. Pete Rossani says the judge gave Big Meech consideration because he took a plea, sentencing him to 360 months or 30 years to life. Meech received the low end of the applicable guidelines. Now, he also added to that there is no signs of cooperation. That is his original sentence. Now, I think I'll get to that a little bit later because it does come up. He says the weight of the prosecution was primarily on his brother, noting that if Meech had severed the case, he may have beaten it all together. Now, I thought Terry was the smart one. I hear he was mad. He didn't want to plea out. He wanted to fight, and they got him all on tape and everything else. He got the weight of it on him. You know what I'm saying? And he mad because I heard he even went with a court appointed. He was so mad, talking about, I'm just gonna plea anyway. Why I'm gonna spend money? I'm just gonna plea anyway. Man, that's crazy. I mean, I don't know. That might have been smart, that play, but being that upset when you could be doing an elbow. You feel me? You being that upset because Meech wanting to plea. We all sort of seen in the series that came out in regards to it or whatnot when they were speaking in there and they had their little. I can only imagine that it was something like that in person. You know what I'm saying? But y'all go to trial, y'all get cooked. You feel me? I wonder if he still feel the same. If anybody gets an interview with Terry with Southwest T, ask him if he still feels the same way he felt when he played, because he's free now. You know what I'm saying? Under whatever circumstances he's free under. He says since Meech refused to cooperate, he couldn't get under the 30 years, and there was no 5K1 letter. Now, I'm going to stop right there because there's a couple of you channels out there that was putting up, like I told y'all in one of my other videos, these dudes are manufacturing this paperwork on their computers, man. A couple of you dudes out there putting up little bitty pieces of this and clips of that, pieces of this without the whole paperwork, talking about it's a 5K1 with Demetri Flannery, this and that, man. Cut it out, dog. That's why I ain't even report on that one. And a couple of them are big channels. So I hope y'all print a retraction, an apology, or something like that. Or you too might be held liable. And I hope Meech sue all y'all. I hope he sue all you, boy. Anyway, it says because in order for him to get below the 30 years, they would have had to file a 5K1 letter. Since he never got below the 30 years, that argument is completely irrelevant. So, as I said before, and as he reiterated, he's within his sentencing guidelines. There is no 5K1 because in order for him to get underneath the time that he was sentenced to by the judge, they would have had to file for one. And there isn't one. And he didn't have under the 30 years. So that is completely irrelevant, as he just said. Let me see. In the federal system, you do 85% of your time. Noting that 30 years is more like 24, 25. And along with that, Meech had 2 modifications to his sentencing guidelines, as well as a third reduction by way of the First Step Act that Donald Trump signed, I guess, the last time he was in office, and an extended halfway house placement. So I think he in a halfway house for 15 months or something. Because with all the reductions or whatnot, he was supposed to, I guess he gets released. You know what I mean? So they granted him an extended stay at the halfway house, man. I'm glad also, I don't think I wrote that down in the notes. They also touched on the fact that he can't talk right now. He's still in jail. I said the same thing. I wouldn't address nothing. Why would he? He's still in jail. Just because he's in a halfway house, just because you see him taking pictures and getting new teeth and this and that and the other, that don't mean nothing, man. He's still on federal, what is it? I don't know if it's probation, parole. He on federal something. And he gonna have to abide by that until dog say what, January 27th of next year. Then he can hold the press conference, man. But outside of that, why would he say anything about this, man? I'd just be getting all my ducks in a row, lining them up. And I line them up January 28th as soon as I get the ankle monitor clipped off. He said February 5th and 7th, 5th through 7th, 2013, the cops set Cuff up with 2 keys of their own product, by the way, and Cuff didn't pay. He ran off, but then persuaded them when they go. They say after the driver is caught with the 2 keys that the cops was supposedly selling the Cuff that he ran off with, he persuaded them to give him 15 more. So we're talking about 17 keys altogether. They was gonna give Meech a time cut for 17 keys. Do that make sense to anybody? We ain't even getting with Suarez. We done found out he's a peon. He got arrested with $57,000 in his pocket. A pound of meth. 1 pound, not a cartel member. 1 pound of meth. He beat 3 keys of cocaine or whatnot. That's how he met Meech. We ain't got to talk about that no more. Like I said, that he dispelled. Shout out to them again. They dispelled a lot of the rumors, a lot of the questions that are floating around online or whatnot. A lot of things that people want to know. They were able to get out into the open. Now here's the thing. Let's talk about. He said Meech's reputation has the intellectual value of tens of millions of dollars. But then he goes on to explain the way that others may be liable for damages, but not 50 cents, man. Let's take a look at this.
Well, look, in the United States, we all have a First Amendment right to speech. However, no one has a right to ignore objectively verifiable facts and then construct a alternative version of events while ignoring objectively verifiable facts and taking those false factual premises and attacking the property of another individual. Now, Meech's reputation has an intangible value in the tens of millions of dollars. Well, if you are ignoring facts and then creating this version of events that didn't happen to now undermine the commercial value of that property, there's a very good chance he's going to start seeing a lot of people in court.
Now, see, if you ask me, that's everything 50 Cent did. That's everything he did. He is at the root of this. Now, of course, a good attorney will say that these rumors and allegations were out well before 50 Cent took part in it. And for the most part, they were. But he made it a circus. You feel me? When that clown joined, that made it a circus. Ringling Brothers, everybody wanted to see. He put Meech out there as a rat. He drew and created the narrative that Tammy Collins was working for him at his behest in order to get people locked up, in order to get a time reduction. In my opinion, he's done everything that Mr. Russo, or what is it, Rosani said that he didn't. But just because he released that statement doesn't mean anything. That was a smart move. That's what he was supposed to do. But at the end of the day, he definitely took part in getting the concert canceled. Yeah. I do believe he took part in that. And furthermore, he began to add artists that were performing and asking them if they were still going to perform because Big Meech was allegedly a rap. That is hurting his brand. That is hurting his money. That is everything. Like I said, they must be 50 Cent fans or, don't want no smoke with 50 Cent, but fuck him. You feel me? Because everything that man said that others would be liable for, 50 took part in at a large scale. I'm talking about a large scale. He's the reason it took off the way it did. I mean, and furthermore, you can see the careers of people like Ja Rule, Young Buck, The Game, all people he tried to ruin after they left his tutelage. Buying out the tickets at Young Buck's, at Young Buck 2, he did that to Young Buck 2, so his event looked empty. You know what I'm saying? Bought half the tickets or something, so it looked very, very empty. Bought all Ja Rule's front row tickets or whatnot, so his event, that's messing with somebody's livelihood. Even though it wasn't a very smart move because he put money in their pockets. If he bought up all the tickets so it looked empty, he still paid for the tickets and put the money in their pockets. So they got their backing in, is what I'm getting at. So it wasn't quite as smart. I guess he wanted to spend money to make them look bad. You know what I'm saying? Which is crazy. But like I said, you can see they look at that. A good defense attorney for Meech would cite these other people's careers who he's done damage to. Irreputable damage. You feel me? So yeah, 50's on the line, and I hope he sue him for 100, 200, 300, 400 million. And I ain't capping. He gonna have to didn't he sign bankruptcy or something before? He filed for bankruptcy or something before when somebody sued him, right? Then started tripping on A. Marie because she did it to him. Shout out to A. Marie, Detroit. You feel me? Salute to her. But yeah. Let me get back, man. What else I got? I got a couple more points and I'm going to get out of here, man. We're going to try to cap this at the 15-minute mark. Oh, that ain't. So about 18, 20 minutes, I guess this video going to be. So check it out. Says Tammy was a first-party cooperation. You know what I'm saying? She received compensation in the amount of $3,000 a month. She received another $80,000. She received $24,000. And she received a new car. According to Crime and Entertainment and Mr. Pete there, she was $200,000 in on the case. It could not be third-party cooperation for that exact reason right there. Because her payola would have been getting him off, not getting money and cars and houses and stuff like that, and $3,000 a month. So they dispelled that rumor. It says in 2009, she cooperated against Terry White as a civilian. Jack Harvey made it a point to say that she was a civilian. She had no reason to be involved in criminality or be doing what she was doing. She was just being a good person, like dude said. Now, he says in June of 2011, DA agents closed her out as an informant. In July of 2011, DA agent Jack Harvey, her handler, retires. But in August of 2011, Cromer calls her out of the blue and asks her if she wants to work. Now, like they said in the video, let me piggyback on that notion for all you slow guys out there like Dogface TV. In order for Meech to be the one that corroborated this to set this up or whatnot, he would have had to have Cromer call her. That's how that would have had to work. She didn't reach out to him and say, hey, I know things. I can still help you guys. I'm willing to put my life on the line in order to go undercover and help you guys sting drug organizations. It's not what happened. Cromer called her because he saw how good of a job she did, evidently, on that last case. And he wanted to stick her in driving money around and this and that and other, get her involved in organizations so they could crack them. Another point that came up was Cuffy calling looking for work. He's unintelligent. Maybe got a little sprinkle of bad work, sprinkle of bad luck, but for the most part, he's just unintelligent. And he makes unintelligent decisions. Like running off on the plug and calling for another one while the cop in the front seat of the car. See, that was all coincidence. She didn't know he was going to call. Cuff didn't know she had a cop in the front. That was all coincidence. And then they set the play. You hear what I'm talking about? So I don't want to hear no more of this Cuffy nonsense. I don't want to hear about the Bay nigga. Because he's a clown from what I understand. Call himself going off on Meech, and I'm going to cover that sooner than later. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to 4-2 Doug for standing on business on that fuck 50 Cent shit. This is Detroit, nigga. And it's Detroit versus everybody. Peace to the 5% nation of gods and earths. Until we meet again. I'll be back.